Hey guys, Rob here. Hopefully this will be the first of many unboxings. Take a look and see what I found at my local big box technology store today. Thought Linksys was going to ship these in a couple of days, but apparently they've already got them on the shelf, at least at this particular store, so I couldn't resist picking one up. If you're not familiar with the WRT1900AC, it was announced at CES back in January as the successor to the iconic WRT54G. Should be a great little router. Of course, the original was a BG type router, and this one is AC and N. So let's take a look at it, see what's in the box, and eventually we'll put up a complete review on the website. So here we are, ready to open the box. 1900AC, a significant upgrade over the WRT54G in that it not only has quite a bit more memory internally, but a range of additional ports and a 1.2 gigahertz dual core ARM processor. Looks like a pretty high quality packaging. Here's the unit itself. Doesn't seem to be much heavier than the original, or should I say its predecessor. Well built. Got 4 gigabit Ethernet ports. Of course, the WAN or internet port, USB 3.0 port, an original USB, well, what they're calling USB, but really eSATA port, reset, 12-volt adapter jack, and the antenna connectors, and what looks to be a reset button over here, and I believe a connect button here. Looks like activity lights for ports 1 through 4, as well as internet power, 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, eSATA, and USB 1 and 2, which again, one of which is an eSATA port. And we've got connectors on either side for the other antennas. Understand with 2 antennas you can do some level of beam forming to send the highest power of the signal to where you want it to go, but with 4 you can really maximize that, which is why they build this as having a great deal of increased coverage capability. Let's see what else we've got in the box. Quick start guide, instructions, default password, and looks to be a CD or DVD. We've got 4 antennas, and my guess is that under here there's a power supply. We've got power supply, power cable for the power supply, thin ribbon style, what I would imagine is a Cat 6 cable, and a blank filler for that part of the box. So we'll just get this set up, take a look at what's going to look like with the antennas mounted. Again, this has some great new features, one of which, based off of the legacy of the WRT54G, is the ability to use open source firmware versus the stock Linksys firmware. In this case, the default recommendation is to use firmware from OpenWRT. However, I would imagine that the guys over at DDWRT will eventually release something as well. We've got 128 megabytes of flash and 256 megabytes of DDR3 RAM. So overall, the firmware can be much larger and have greater capability than most of the wireless routers in this price range. And I think lastly, one of the more interesting features that I mentioned briefly of is the beam forming that you can get from these 4 antennas. So if you're on the 2nd story of a house and maybe have this router in the basement like I do, you'll be able to really sort of target where you want the power to go so that you can have great connectivity up in those hard to reach areas of your home, or perhaps if you plan on using your wireless devices outside. So that is the box unboxing of the WRT1900AC. I was quite shocked to find one on the shelf today.